Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. Greetings, Algo artisans. Welcome to the weekly Algo Factory Market Update. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, Solana, EURUSD, GBPUSD, USDJPY. We're going to look at the SP500 Futures, the Dow Futures, NASDAQ Futures, gold, and silver. And we're going to start in the economic announcements this week. I'll make this quick. We're just going to go through what these announcements are, understand that the USD announcements can affect what happens in all markets, stocks, crypto, anything. And the other announcements may just affect those currencies or markets related to those currencies. The USD and the JPY, the Japanese yen, can affect all the rest of the markets as well. So first event Monday morning, 10 AM EST, you have the ISM manufacturing PMI data. That's right after the market opened after a long weekend. So understand that a lot of things may have kind of been building up or changing over the weekend when people were not paying attention. So the market open might be a little bit crazy and that might add to it. Tuesday, we have Swiss franc, 2:30 AM EST. They're going to talk about their CPI month over month, which will affect their currency strongly, I imagine. 8 AM USD JOLTS job openings. That's 10 AM EST. We have the Aussie dollar at 7:30 PM coming out with their GDP quarter. That could be pretty strong. Wednesday at 4 AM EST, BOE, Bank of England Governor Bailey speaks. So everything he says might be microanalyzed and markets can move for the pound and for British stocks. You have the USD ADP non-farm employment change. A lot of eyes on employment. That's going to happen 8:15 AM EST on Wednesday. And then 10 AM is the ISM Services PMI. Much like Monday's announcement, it's going to be on Wednesday. You got Fed Chair Powell speaking 1:45 PM on Wednesday. So everything he says is going to be analyzed and could move all markets across the board, possibly. Unemployment claims as it is every Thursday, 8:30 AM EST. We have some Canadian news. Their employment data comes out at 8:30 AM EST, along with USD data, hourly earnings, more employment data as well. So as all of those come out, pay attention. That is over on forexfactory.com. Let's move on to charts. We've got Bitcoin. What is it going to do? Is it going to pull back massively? Is the top end? I know that was the big question last week. I can tell you, just looking at the chart, there's a lot of resilience here. Bitcoin really not giving a you-know-what and just staying up high. This is what it's doing. It can't get below right now 90,000. It tried. Now, it may very well do so. It may be that too many people are selling at 100,000. It may be that it's being held down for a number of reasons. It may be that a 50% move in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks is enough for people to take some profit here at 100,000 at a very psychologically important number. I see nothing that's nefarious or weird about it yet. Now, if it does try to break several times and it shows that it wants to and it cannot do that and it stays below 100,000 for the rest of the cycle, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think it was manipulated down, but no one really knows outside of your big muckety mucks who are or are not doing the manipulation. And again, if we're going to complain about that, well, that might just be sour grapes that you lost your trade. So let's move on to what I think might happen. For the moment, I'm not seeing what I need to see in the algo to think the price is going to break 100,000 this week. Now, that can change extremely quickly. The market, the general market, is hyper bullish. Things can turn around and just break out of nowhere. That can happen no matter what the algos say. As a matter of fact, algos based on indicators are a little bit laggy, so that is one of the dangers of using them. But if you can win more trades than you lose, then it makes sense, right? Just have that occasional loss. Solana, in a similar vein. Now, Solana itself is going to have a hard time getting below 230. Now, it tried to do that. It went all the way down to about 220 and got pushed really hard upward. If the whole market cools off, there are a couple things that can happen, like we talked about last week. Solana could follow Bitcoin down a bit. If Bitcoin stabilizes right below 100,000, anywhere from 80 to 95, 96,000, and it doesn't go down for a long time, like it just kind of stays above that level, you might find a lot of the profit taking going into the altcoins. And I do believe Solana would shoot up given that scenario happens. But until we see that kind of stability in Bitcoin price, I think Solana will follow Bitcoin, and it usually is going to make stronger moves than Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes down 6%, Solana may go down 7 or 8. This is not an absolute rule, but it's a general rule. So for the moment, what I see is Solana wanting to go ahead and retest that 220. Now, if it does get below 220, then you are looking at a lot of liquidity for it to grab down in this 215 area. But right now, I'm just thinking we're going to see sideways price action until Bitcoin makes some kind of decision. And that's why I'm not really talking a ton about what I think will happen, because all eyes are on Bitcoin right now. EURUSD. So let's go ahead and look at the drawings from last week. I'm not going to change any of this. This is what I drew last week. I think I drew it partway through the week after some of the price action that happened, and I don't see any change from this right now. The market is pretty bullish, and it's going to want to probably head up and grab this 382 Fibonacci level from the major move down. If I zoom out, we can see that there was a pretty big move down here, and if we go back to a 382, that's what we're looking at. And also, that's a major consolidation going back to 2023. So price probably wants to head back there, plus what we're seeing with the dollar fits that. So I'm looking for a move up. Might see a rejection here at the top of what appears to be this smaller consolidation right here. Not very clean, but it's there. So we might see price reject there or go up and possibly reject at $6.7 or $6.6 area. Okay, GBPUSD. The red line here, this magenta-ish color, that's what I drew last week. Also going to keep that unchanged. It's made its way past some key structure to the left here, so I do expect this to head up to about $1.2844. And it may reject there or may continue up to this 618. Again, very similar price action and reasons for the euro. Okay, USDJPY. Now this red line is what I drew last week, and it's what we're seeing happening. So I think I'm going to stick with this more or less. Price might break down sooner than what I drew. We just have some good reason for price to possibly start rotating and kind of creating a range here. And once it does that, I'll reevaluate the market. If it does not do that, then I would expect a move down to, I'd say, about $1.46. And that could happen a lot more quickly than what I just drew. It might just be before the end of the week. I do expect that to happen, but again, we've got Powell talking on Wednesday, and that can wreak havoc on dollar pairs and dollar related markets. SP500 Futures did exactly, or more or less, exactly what I said it would do last week. Of course, I always have these contingent plans, but I leave my main plan in a solid color. So I changed it to magenta to show that what I said last week happened, and what I said would most likely happen last week happened. And that happens quite a bit with these things. I'm pretty accurate with a lot of my stuff. It's not investment advice, but if you want to have some pretty good ideas as to what might happen for your own research, you might want to watch my show every week. Put it out on Sunday in the afternoon, and it gives an idea of what may happen the following week. And if you've been watching my prior shows, you would see I'm pretty accurate. Okay, enough of the victory lap. Let's move on here. I do think we're going to see a continuation upwards. It's basically here at this all-time high. It's right at the all-time high the futures market is, and we might see it want to pop up. It's just bullish in all time frames. Now, of course, it could pull back a little bit. It might not go straight up more or less, or it might not take this real strong trajectory as I drew it. You might even see a bit of a retracement and then up, or instead of that, what you might see is just kind of a jagged sort of push up until the bears are tired and the FOMO kicks in. And I do expect to go up to 61.42 before the end of the year, if not before the end of the week. The end of the week is a tall order, but we've seen that kind of price action happen. And again, like I said last week, the plunge protection team seems to be in. So let's see how it does. Get that Santa rally, pushes up to 61.40 or so. Remember, I told a lot of people that I expected to see $6,000 SP500 before the end of the year. Many of them scoffed. I'm not even going to change last week's look on this. Obviously, this contingent plan did not happen, so I'll delete that. But this is what I drew last week, and it is what is happening. I think we'll see 45,750, 45,740 or so, probably by the end of the week. This is a daily chart. It's only a couple of days along that trajectory for the Dow to do this, and all the algos are bullish. NASDAQ, I left again last week's look, and it really was pretty accurate. It did manage to break upwards a little further after the drawings here, and I do think it will continue up. But remember, the NASDAQ doesn't have, at least as of yet, the same kind of bullishness behind it, because it outperformed throughout the whole year. So it might be sort of taking a breath, a little more aggressive profit taking the last few months on the NASDAQ. So it may not be ready to up like, say, the Dow, but I do believe maybe by the end of the year or January, we're going to see 21,500. And that, of course, is going to depend on no black swans or no major market changes. That's just what the trajectory says right now. Let's take a look at gold. Now, gold and silver, I don't really expect a lot of action, but again, gold and silver are very much politically sensitive, right? Geopolitically sensitive. Something happens with Russia or Israel or any kind of war issue, this really could spike up pretty hard. In the meantime, there's not a lot of volatility. Gold really tried to pull back from its all-time high of about 2,800, came and bounced off its prior structure here. And we talked about this last week, and that was around 25 2530 and really rally back up strong to 2700. So the bulls are there. Price seems to not, at least for now, want to go below 2500, but we do see it kind of slowing down, and it almost looks a little bit like plunge protection team is in here, but it could just be that the market is overall bullish and it is overall slowing down after some wild price action. Until it speeds up, then it'll probably look just like this, a slow crawl upwards. We'll see as it happens. Silver, very similar, not quite as bullish as gold for the moment. Silver tends to be more volatile over the higher time frame. Again, I expect sideways action, maybe just staying within this range between about 2980 and 3150. Until that breaks, there's not really a lot I can guess as to what's going to happen. I would say that it's more likely to break topside though. But remember, there's a strong wall sitting at about $32. Silver tends to be held down below 32. So we will see how long all of that holds. In the meantime, I want to thank you for coming to watch this. AlgoFactory.tech is our company here, and what we do is we teach people how to build their own trading algorithms. It's simple to do. It does not require a lot of understanding of mathematics. I've taught people of all education levels how to do this, and we just had a trader let me know that he's going to leave Algo Factory. I said, okay, what's going on? He goes, you've given me what I need. So this guy is already a trader. He trades and has been doing so for years, and basically what he told me, and he's going to do a testimony, he told me that I just helped him clean up his system. He came in, he took about 4 or 5 months, and he was able to fix whatever problems he was having by using our methodology. And that's great. That's perfect. I want you to come in here. I want you to get set so that you do not need me anymore. I'm not interested in taking your money forever. As much as I like to take your money, that's not what I'm interested in doing. I want you to be successful and to go tell everybody so they come and be successful, and that's what I want. So, AlgoFactory.tech. Come on over, learn to trade like a hedge fund pro, and we will see you on Tuesday morning for the live show. Thanks again.